The fifth criterion of jus ad bellum is legitimate authority. When this was first formulated by Thomas Aquinas in the 13th century, it took for granted the political environment in Italy at the time, an anarchy of private enterprise mercenary bodies, city-states, and overarching and rival papal and Holy Roman imperial authorities. The point of the criterion, therefore, was to assert at least that war should only be waged by bodies with responsibility for the public good, and not by those in pursuit of merely private interests. In current affairs, that responsibility lies uncertainly between states and the UN Security Council. The sixth and final criterion in this first category of requirements for just war is a prospect of success. And this is a criterion I've been uncertain about. It prescribes that one should only go to war when there's a prospect of winning it, because obviously one doesn't want to risk the hazards and invite the costs of war futilely, in vain. My problem with this is the same as with the cost-benefit version of proportionality. Events being so unpredictable, it's often very hard to gauge the likely outcome. In May 1940, with Britain's army smashed on the far side of the English Channel and France surrendered, the prospect of prevailing against the Nazi Empire looked very dim indeed. So dim that members of the British cabinet, such as Lord Halifax, urged the opening of negotiations with Hitler by Mussolini. But 19 months later, the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, together with the consequent entry of the US into the war against Japan's German ally, made dark suddenly turn to light. More recently, before February 2022, most expert observers reckoned that Ukraine would quickly collapse in the face of Russian invasion. And yet here we are, 3 years later, Ukraine is still fighting and will likely avoid being completely overrun. Life is very unpredictable, and the future is shrouded in fog. All that said, we might agree that if the prospect of winning looks almost certainly close to naught, war should not be embarked upon and other forms of resistance preferred.